good point. I got to give you props because no one else has picked up on that but you. And that is really very, very true. I have always thought that the Sam Bradford project here was a 2-year project. And finally, we heard a little bit from Kelly that gives us an indication that he's ready to say that people need to just sort of back off on Sam. The problem, of course, is what's the major problem with – I think you're dead on. I think you're dead on, Mike. And I hope some people pick up on what you're talking about because you're dead on. But the problem with what Kelly is attempting to do here is that Eli Manning is in year 2 of a new offense after winning 2 Super Bowls. So it's not a fair comparison with regard to Eagles fans versus Giant fans. Giant fans were willing to be a little bit more patient with Eli because the guy's got 2 rings. He brought him 2 trophies. He gave him 2 parades. So you see where I'm going with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we know this isn't a patient bunch here in the Delaware Valley.
Well, they have a right not to be patient, though, is my point.
No doubt, no doubt.
They haven't had it. You look at the NFC East. I don't have to remind you, there are 12 Super Bowls in the NFC East, and none of them reside in Philadelphia. So people here have the right to be angry and frustrated, and people here have a right to be impatient. So when Kelly tries to sell us on the idea, and I think you're right, I think he is trying to sell us on the idea that this is a 2-year process, and what Bradford's going through is not dissimilar to what Eli Manning has gone through in the last 2 years. He's being a little disingenuous because Eli's won 2 Super Bowl titles.
Well, Sal, okay, this week I asked the question to a lot of our guests who are on here and the listeners. Do you believe, now I know it's early, 5 weeks, it's hard, but he's only got a 1-year deal. Do you believe Sam Bradford is the quarterback of the Eagles next year?
It's too early for me to give a definitive answer. Based on what I've seen, I would never sign him to the kind of long-term deal that he's looking for. And the reason why I gave you that explanation, that specifically, is because I know Bradford and his agent are looking for the kind of money that suggests this is the franchise quarterback for now and going forward 2 to 3 years, which means that the Eagles have to make a substantial investment in a guy who's still unproven.
And he'll get that on the market, right? Someone will cave in.
I'm not sure about that. He has to play a lot better than he has played. I'm not sure about that. I realize there are a lot of teams that have money and the salary cap is going up big time because the TV contracts are going up astronomically in the next 2 years, and the NFL is making money, barrels full of money. I get all that. Buffalo could probably back up. I know the Jets had some interest in Sam Bradford when the Bradford was on the trading block, but in the end, Todd Bowles would not trade for him because he wasn't sure about his health. Now, in retrospect, that doesn't look like a pretty smart move because Bradford has held up health-wise. The problem is that Bradford continues to make the kinds of mistakes, and I'm going to use this term, Mike, that are inexcusable for a quarterback at this juncture of his career. Now, okay, 5 games back, I get that. 2 ACLs, I get that. New offense, I get that. But, Mike, those 2 picks in the end zone, you can't blame that on any of those 3 things, can you?
Nope, they're bad throws. They're really bad throws, and you're wondering, I agree with you. How much time?
You can't rationalize those throws, Mike.
Nope.
With this guy doesn't know the offense. You can't rationalize those throws with this guy still coming back from his knee injury. You just cannot. So I am not ready to give Sam Bradford franchise kind of quarterback money.
Yeah, that's another interesting point. I mean, do they just franchise him and try that second year and then make a decision?
Well, you could do that, but franchise quarterbacks, you're giving them $20 million.
Woo! It's a lot of dough. That's a lot of dough there for him. But then the next thing is, Sal, Chip's on to his 6th starting quarterback if Sam's not the guy.
That's true.
I mean, Vic Barkley started a couple games. You got Foles in there. You got Sanchez. You got Bradford. And then the next guy comes into the mix. That's where it gets a little – so is that his escape strategy? What is your take on the Chip Kelly college rumors? Is that his escape? I can't find my quarterback. I'm out of here.
I don't think he's leaving.
I agree with you.
I think he likes being in the NFL. He made that jump. As he always explained right from the get-go, first day he was hired, I burned the boats. I'm Cortez. I'm not looking back. But here's the thing with Bradford. I think there are two major areas that he still must show me. I realize it's only 5 games in, and I'm not trying to say that he won't get it fixed, but he needs to get it fixed in a hurry. One is these ridiculous end zone interceptions. He leads the league with 3 of those. That's not good. Secondly, he's attempted 47 passes on third down. Only 9 of them have been completed for a first down. So he's 9 for 47 on third down and gets a first down.
Wow.
That's 19%, Mike.
Didn't realize it was that
That's
bad.
last in the league. Huh?
Didn't realize it was that bad.
That's last in the league, Mike. Now, that's no good. And I don't think he, again, can rationalize it that he doesn't know the offense or he's a little skittish because of the knee injuries or blah, 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 blah. It needs to be at least twice that. Any good quarterback can pass his team out of trouble on third down. This is the reason why Sanchez is on the bench. Sanchez couldn't do that last year. It was the third down problems of Mark Sanchez and Nick Foles that got Foles shipped out of town and Sanchez benched. And now it's worse. You know what Sanchez was on third down? Throwing the ball? He was at 51% at the end of the season. 51. Bradford's at 19. Foles has never been below 50% in his career.
And the third down is such a big thing because conversely, we talked about the time of possession thing. If they can get those third downs, you keep the defense off the field. And then, of course, on the other side, the defense has had their issues on third downs as well, not being able to get off the field. And it reared its head a little bit last week against the Saints. But you got to give them some credit. They dominated that game. I thought they really answered the bell in that second half. And you asked last week, who got to Chip Kelly? Well, did you see the adjustments that Kelly said that he was going to make?
Yeah, he made them too. He had to change the offense in order to get it to work.
So what was the changes?
Okay, I'll go through the 4 of them that I saw. 1, outside sweeps, abandoning the inside zone run play. Mm-hmm. 2, running Ryan Matthews and DeMarco Murray 5 and 7 yards deep with the quarterback under center. 3, 2 tight end sets. He ran 29 2 tight end sets last week against the Saints. In the previous 4 games, he ran a total of 20.
Wow.
Yeah. And then lastly, slowing down the offense. They had the highest time of possession that they've had all year long. In fact, the entire in year 3, going into year 3. So those are the things that I saw that were a change. Now, against the Giants really are a one-trick pony. On offense, they can throw the ball if Odell Beckham Jr. is healthy. On defense, they can stop the run. That's basically all the Giants can do. And I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to get to Eli Manning. 1, he gets rid of the ball every 2.21 seconds, which is 5th best in the league, behind Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Andy Dalton and Phillip Rivers. 2, the offensive line coach of the Giants, Paul Flaherty, I think is one of the best in the league. He really puts together a good pass protection design every week. Eli in Buffalo, against Rex Ryan, the mad blitzer, Eli was not touched but once in that game. Shane Vereen will be covered by rookie Jordan Hicks. Shane Vereen in that last drive against San Francisco was key last week. And you're going to put a rookie on him, and I think that's really important. That's going to be an important outlet pass, allow Eli to defy the rush. And 3, Byron, I'm not Nnamdi Asamoah Maxwell, is going to be covering Odell Beckham Jr.
Listen, let me ask you this then. You mentioned the past.
I like the Giants a little bit in this game.
I'm surprised by this, Sal, because, I know
my Eagles are -4, but I like the Giants a little bit. And I realize the Giants, they've lost, I think, 11 of their last 15 against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I like the Giants in this game a little bit. I'm not ready to give 4 points. I'm just not.
Well, and in this same exact week 6 last year on prime time, wasn't Monday, it was Sunday, 27-0. The Eagles sacked Eli 8 times. And look, the one thing that's interesting here is the Giants' pass defense has not been very good. This is a game that as you mentioned, let's see something from Sam. This is no Prince Amukamara. This should be a game where the Eagles should be able to throw the ball. They can't rush the passer, right?
No. So, but, this is a tight game, though, Mike. This tight game. This not going to be 27-0 with 8 sacks. It's a different offense
no doubt.
For the Giants and Eli.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tight game. I'm very reluctant to give 4 points here. Very reluctant.
It sounds that way. And the Giants, obviously, with first place on the line, the Eagles last week. Let me ask you this. Were you impressed with the win against the Saints, or are you just not impressed enough with the Saints to give the Eagles that step forward that everybody's been looking for?
Yeah, I think they made progress in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly were executing better on the offensive line. And like I said, Chip Kelly, Mike, made some changes that I thought were subtle but important. So he's not showing a foolish desire to cling to his system in the face of disaster. And that's progress.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I saw the 4 things you laid out. I thought were very astute. I think this is going to be a very interesting game to see where they progress to, because we saw Chip 1-3 in year 1. They took off. We'll see if they can follow suit. Monday Night Football, Sal Pal and the guys at ESPN will have all the coverage. Don't forget the matchup show, the book, How Football Explains America, the play. You're all over the place. You got to be busy, Sal. I appreciate, of course, the Sal Pal Fridays.
No, it's my pleasure, totally. And I just want to say, with Merrill Hodge out after going through open heart surgery, his replacement, Lou Riddick, and Jaws do a masterful job on the matchup show, breaking down exactly what the Eagles did on the offensive line to get their running game going. I mean, if you're a true football fan, a guy who loves X's and O's, I would tape the matchup show and definitely watch the 3rd segment of the show if you don't get to watch the whole show, because the 3rd segment is dedicated to Monday Night Football.
Nice.
It's dedicated to the Eagles' running game against the Saints. And Jaws does a great job of diagramming schematically exactly the changes that Chip Kelly made, so you don't want to miss that. And that's 8:30 tomorrow morning on ESPN2 and 6:30 Sunday morning on the mothership.
ESPN2, 8:30 tomorrow. DVR's set, everybody. I love the show, and of course, as you mentioned, that Monday night, really get a feature to see here. And I'm interested to see how they really break that run game down, because finally they got it going. I'd like to see some more Orion Matthews, though. I thought he was the catalyst of that second quarter there with those 40 yards.
You know what you'll see, Mike, when Jaws lays it out? You'll see DeMarco Murray turning the corner like a semi-truck. Takes him forever. And you'll see Ryan Matthews stick his foot in the ground and go through the hole. It's a very stark comparison. People will not want to miss this, because Jaws breaks it down, and you'll see the stark contrast in the running styles of these two guys suited for this offense.
Really
I'm
cool.
telling you, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I know people who really like the show. It's schematic to lay out the X's and O's. Jaws does it the best. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you learn from this, because I certainly learned by watching this.
Well, I always love to watch the matchup show, and it's worse when there's a Monday night feature on this team. I want to see him break it down. Sal Pal, Lewis Riddick does a great job, too, and, of course, Jaws, our buddy here. And Sal Pal Fridays every Friday at this time on the Sports Bash. Sal, enjoy the football this weekend, pal.
All right, Mike, but that's a great point you made at the top of the show. But you should continue to make that, because I agree with you 1,000%. Very smart.
I appreciate that. And that's one of the highlights of today. And there's Sal Palantonio, everybody here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN every Friday with Sal Pal.